Top of the evening, everybody. Chris McDonald with you on a Monday night. We're grateful to have everybody, and we've got grateful to have a dear friend with us on the phone tonight. We had hoped, not that she was our second choice, but I'm grateful that she can fill in for us tonight on a Monday night. Leslie Millwee is on the phone with me. Leslie, good to hear from you tonight, buddy. Tell you what a day we've had. We will have Tony Branco, folks. We're just not sure what happened to Tony tonight. We'll have to figure that out. But, Leslie, good to have you tonight, and we're grateful to have you as always. It sort of worked out for the best. I'm glad that you're on. We'll get Tony back on another time. Listen, how are you? It's good to see you tonight, as always.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm glad you value my opinion enough that I could even be second. So.
Oh, you're not second. No, you're first. Branco, we had y'all on both together. I just put you on a panel. We're going to do that sometime. We need to do. I like these panels when we have a little mixture of discussion. Too. I think we need to do more of those. Listen, big news today, and I know some people have heard about this. Most, I'm sure, have, but some have not. The Supreme Court today basically set off a time bomb, and it's a big day for President Trump. Huge win, because they have ruled that he has got presidential immunity on official acts, and it doesn't cover unofficial acts. But what this is going to do, it is going to delay, at least at the minimum, it's going to delay these court hearings against him with the J6, with even the document case, the election interference case, and I think it's going to affect Georgia. And Leslie, their whole goal was to get him before the election, because see, they felt like if they could convict him enough before the election, he would be forced to drop out. Well, this is not going to happen. And I think it puts the whole cases in jeopardy myself. Now, I'm not a legal expert. We're going to have some legal people coming on next week. Because this will still be a story even a week from now. But it's a huge day, and I think it's a win for the law. It's not a win for Trump to me. It is a win for the law and the rule of law in this country. They ruled right today. I know the left's going into panic mode, and I understand that a lot of therapists and shrinks are on double time tonight at the DNC, holding hands to Jim Carville and and the whole newscast at MSNBC and CNN and NBC tonight. I think there's probably a joint intervention going on right now, but it's a good day for America. A damn good day for America. What say you?
Yeah, absolutely. I really had anticipated it to be more of a neutral thing, but this is definitely a win to get back to what our Constitution was meant to be. And then Trump Biden coming on after the fact, an hour or so ago, and basically said, trying to discard and weaponize the justice system and the Supreme Court. He basically said they're bad, they're against me. And you're right, this is going to affect every single case. Maybe it'll be interesting. Trump is supposed to get sentenced, his sentence next week. So
do you think that this affects that at all? Do you think that there's a possibility that that's going to make that case even questioned? Because see, a lot of the Bragg has accused him of doing, Leslie, was taking place while he was president. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, it has to do with the election.
All of it was, yeah. Well, not all of it. I mean, some of it was.
Why?
Well, no, he was pretty much president then.
But he was having to do. Let me just interject this. But the issue is that they claimed he was trying to interfere with the 2016 election by paying off this hooker, this prostitute, lady of the night. Chris could go on the list. I could keep going. Yeah, exactly. I think we get the idea. Let's just say that this individual that, let's just say that, well, I better not say what I was going to say. I was about to get myself in trouble. But this individual, so forth, that was not the most ethical character person. But let me ask you this. Is it not that they are claiming election interference? And to me, this thing today throws that in jeopardy. That's just my opinion. And again, I'm not a legal person. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I will be curious as to what they plan to do. I think their last hurrah is this sentencing. And I agree. I think the Georgia case is going to go by the wayside. We know the documents case in Florida is probably going to be after the election. And of course, the New York case, that's what they're trying to hinge everything on. So they have a lot riding on next week. And if they had any brains, they would delay it, or, you know, I don't know what they're going to do. I really think that guy would love to give, that psycho judge would like to give Trump jail time. And I think if that happens, the outrage will be so, it's going to be crazy. It could, you know, cause the beginnings of a civil war, because our freedom is at jeopardy. And, you know, Trump knows this, and you're right, though. It's bigger than us. It's the country. It's our founding fathers. And I just saw Victor Davis Hanson on one of the Fox shows, and, you know, he is just such a legal scholar. He wonders if they're going to try to hammer that last nail in the ground with the sentencing. I don't know. I would think it would scare them. I mean, Jack Smith should be pretty scared right now that he's an idiot, and he looks like an idiot, but they probably don't care. They really probably don't care. He'll ride off into the sunset, and no one will be the wiser.
Well, let me ask you this. Going back to the crazy nutcase up in New York, this Erdogan, or whatever his name is, I think that he would be more concerned about making Trump a martyr, because Leslie, even if he goes to jail, it doesn't mean nothing. I mean, we can. It ain't the first time that I don't care. I don't care. Do you think that's going to cause me not to vote for Trump after what people saw on that stage? Do you think they could care whether Trump's in jail compared to what they saw with Joe Biden last Thursday night? I mean, for God's sake, I don't think it matters. I think that it's just going to, and you said it, it's going to fire up his base in a way that the Dems, if they think they've pissed a bunch of people off by what they've done already, they ain't seen nothing yet. They have not seen anything yet. And I'm going to tell you, I think what's going to happen is the independents. Look, what happened Thursday night, I was looking at the CBS poll just this afternoon. Before the debate Thursday night, the number of people in America that thought Joe Biden was mentally competent to run the country was 35%. After that debate, they took the same poll, flash poll. It dropped 8 points in a matter of an hour and a half. It went down to 27%. Oh, wow. Only 27%, which is really the far fringe AOC left wing of the Democratic Party, believes that he's even fit to run for office. Now, that's no wonder Jim Carville was on suicide watch tonight. I'm just saying. Oh, yeah. No wonder. I want to meet that 25 or 27% that think he's able. I mean, we're having major problems walking and doing a pivot turn. Do you really want him to run your country and carry the bomb? And, you know, we know he's not doing anything. Now, the one thing that did come out of this that, I guess I could say I'm quasi-surprised a little, that Jill Biden is one of the ones that is just entrenched that he run, and adamant, and, you know, is his caregiver. I mean, maybe she's part of the big picture that's advising him too. I don't know. I don't think she's smart enough. I've seen her speak too. But, I mean, at this point, she's probably a lot more savvy than he is. So does that surprise you that there's so much? No, but we had Magdalene Rose on Thursday night or Friday night maybe, and Magdalene is in her 20s, and she made a great point. I mean, and I really had not really thought about this, and I guess I already knew it, but Magdalene just was able to put it and basically capsule it in a statement. She said Joe Biden's running the country. She said if you think, you know, with Hillary running Bill, Jill's running Joe, and Leslie, she's the power behind all this mess. I think she's more danger to the country than Barack Obama. And speaking of who is pushing him, story came out tonight in Breitbart that there are more than just one rumor going around that Hunter, of all people, is the one that's telling his daddy to dig in. He's telling his daddy to dig in and not quit. She's not even doing that now. Hunter's doing it, which makes this more bizarre. I mean, this is, you can understand. He wants Daddy to be in office. Daddy would be a lame duck. He can
pardon him, and no matter what he said he would do or not do before. I mean, if he's in office, Hunter's a free man. Everything's going to go away. So I think it's a shame that Merrick Garland has acted as he has, with the illegal aliens. He hasn't done his job. If you want to weaponize the law, then you need to go after Joe Biden for opening up the border and not doing his job by protecting us, by letting 10 million people in.
Well, by contrast to what you just said, not to interrupt you, but by extension, let's reverse what you just said. And that is what I've been sort of reading. That's the sort of the conventional wisdom today. And when this thing came down, that this was their last hope. If Trump didn't have immunity, I believe the floodgates of hell was about to be unleashed to him again, even legally. More legal stuff was going to probably try to be brought up. But what's happened is this. His chances for re-election tripled Thursday night. Well, they probably went up 10 times today.
Right.
The Bidens are scared, Leslie, that he
course.
is going to put their carcasses, and I'd use another word, but this is a family show on a Monday night, that he's going to put their sorry blanks asses in the jailhouse, and Obama believes it too. I'm reading some of the comments just off Breitbart, just off Breitbart. I'll just read you the statements. Nicole Wallace, SCOTUS is going to target me. People will flee. People are claiming that he's going to send the Navy SEALs after Democrats. AOC is going to file articles of impeachment against SCOTUS. Carville said Democrats just nominate someone other than Biden. Kamala says Trump's going to weaponize the FBI against us all. I mean, that's just the headlines. Just today. Meltdown City. They're scared, Leslie. You know why?
And most of that is things they've already done.
Absolutely.
That's the shining example that you have to go, really? This is all of the ways that you do politics and your crookedness and you would stop at nothing. You have no moral value or character. You don't care about anything but yourself. And Hunter's probably saying, Dad, if you don't get reelected and you don't stay in the race, I could go to prison.
That's exactly what they're worried about, Liz. They don't care about the country. I mean, and you're right, because either way, look, we're a lame duck either way. I mean, and the lovely thing about Trump is this: he ain't got nothing to lose. And don't you think they don't know that? Because they're like, what can we do to him? I mean, what can we do to him now? It ain't like he's running for re-election. And I'm going to tell you something else that came across the wires today. That Senate. There was about probably a 50-50 shot that the Dems were going to maintain the Senate. That figure today is gone pretty much 65-35 the Republicans now, because people are saying, you know something? Joe Biden is the face of the Dem Party, and it's put the Senate in jeopardy. So this is a trickle effect. And look.
Oh, absolutely. And that's their modus operandi too. It's double down, and you think it can't get more outrageous, and you think, I mean, it was just a campaign on the teleprompter tonight, and it was short, thank God, because he did freeze up one time where he had no clue where he was for about 5 seconds. But the bottom line is he wants to weaponize abortion, and, this is what Trump did. He took away women's rights. Well, that's not true. Go get your pill, or go to a friendly state that will give you, as evil as it is, an abortion at 25 weeks.
That's right.
You go right ahead and leave us normals alone. And, he's just going after stuff like that. And I saw the SEAL Team 6, Sotomayor was out of control today. I mean, she was enraged. And
enraged at the justices?
She's the one that said immune. He's going to be immune. He can go after his opponents and assassinate them.
Well, wait a minute. Is that not what Joe Biden has done? Is that not what this freaking Justice Department has done, going after their opponents? Leslie, there ain't 100%. One of these cases that would have ever been brought if the defendant was not Donald John Trump. There is no basis of fact for any of this. And look, the way I look at it, look, I could share, we've had people on this show and they've torn these cases to pieces legally, and there's not one merit of legal fact for anything they've done to Trump. Nothing. And it's all political. And you know something? In a way, I hope they are scared. I hope they don't have any sleepless nights tonight, because I hope they squirm in their seats, and I hope they're trembling with the freaking fear of God in their bones tonight, that just exactly what they're fearing that Donald Trump just might do. Because you know something, it's not about assassinating him. I'm not saying that. But they need to have the fear of God that they're gonna pay a price for weaponizing the Justice Department against conservatives. Because let me remind my audience tonight, we've not forgotten the weaponization of the IRS against conservatives during Obama. We've not forgotten about the 2 sham impeachments against Donald Trump. We've not forgotten about the lies of the Russia hoax. We've not forgotten about Andy McCabe. We've not forgotten about Mr. Jim Comey. We've not forgotten about Mr. Stork and Lisa, whatever her name was. We ain't forgotten about Lisa Page. We ain't forgotten about that. We ain't forgotten about a bunch of stuff that they did to try to destroy this country because they didn't like somebody politically. So I hope they are trembling tonight. I do. I hope that they're shaking like a branch in a hurricane, because I'm not shedding one crocodile tear over it tonight. I think it's wonderful.
No,
I hope they're scared.
Yeah.
I do.
And you know what? I think Trump has too much class. He's not going to go after them. It's like I want to tell Rachel Maddow and Nicole Wallace, all these people, I'm sorry, but you're not that important enough. Having 200,000 people that watch your show doesn't qualify you for important. You know, the egos on these people are just amazing. You know, Trump's never, ever, ever indicated that he thinks it's unfair, and he talks about that. But my goodness, who wouldn't?
But I will say this, Leslie, in all fairness now, I'm going to not play devil's advocate, but I'm going to say this. I think that he made a mistake the first time by not going and dealing with this justice right. And look, when Jeff Sessions showed his true colors, Jeff Sessions should have been required to step down immediately. And when Bill Barr come in, they did not do their job. If they would have done their job, we may not even be here tonight, because they wouldn't have been able to do what they did to Trump. And to me, if he don't do it, it's a malfeasance of justice. And I think that he has to do something. And look, we're not advocating violence. We're not advocating anything that like these people are claiming that he's going to do. But what we are saying is, legally and from a justice standpoint, I hope he rains the fire of God down on him. I do. I hope he rains all hell down on him. You know, there's a scene in Tombstone, my favorite movie, that I wear this cowboy hat in honor of. I'm not the Cowboys. I would be Wyatt Earp. But I will tell you what I will say. When Wyatt Earp made that scene, he said, you tell the Cowboys I'm coming and hell is coming with me. Let me tell you something. I think Trump should send that message to them tonight, that you better be scared. Because legally, what they've done to this country, Leslie, has destroyed something that is more precious than anything we've got. When you lose the foundation of law in a nation, you have lost it all. Other than our God, other than God. Look, you take God out of a country, the country's gone. But you take the law out, then it's likely that the lawlessness will destroy such a country, and God won't even have to judge it. It'll destroy itself. I'm telling you, this is a dangerous precedent we've set. And these people that are responsible for it, including Joe Biden and Merrick Garland, Obama, all of them, the FBI, the CIA, all this, Brennan, Clapper, all of this bunch, I hope, again, they're trembling. And the media,
you know, it's evil cabal. Yeah,
that's right.
They're evil, and I doubt nothing's going to happen to Joe Biden except maybe going down to his beach in Delaware and spending the rest of his life. I guess that I think President Trump would let that go, but Hunter, they need to go after Hunter, and they need to go after, now they're not saying, I heard Jim Jordan say last night on Mark Levin, it's not $20 million they're finding, it's $150 million they found that Hunter and Biden have split with 7 other family members. So this is huge. Not that 20 million isn't a boatload of money, but just 10 times that. What in the world? they should be prosecuted for that. And if Hunter's prosecuted and they follow the chain, I'm sorry, you got to do something about that. You're right.
Well, I see a comment in the chat, and I'm not taking issue with the person that's saying it, but they're saying, well, Trump's success is retribution. I agree with the thought in principle, but Leslie, again, if lawlessness and what they've done to this country is not addressed, they will do it again. It's got to be stopped and nipped in the bud. It's not about retribution. It's not about success. It is about the rule of law. And what they've done in trashing the law is illegal. What they've done in itself is illegal to Trump. And if somebody don't get in there and stop this train, let me tell you something, no conservative, no Republican to come, because see, this is what frustrated me with Trump the first time. The very thing that he promised us he would do, what was it? Clean the swamp. Clean the swamp. Clean the swamp. What's the one thing he didn't do? Clean the swamp. Guess who bit him? Guess who destroyed him? Guess who came close to trying to put him in jail tonight? The swamp. You've got to clean that swamp out. He's got 4 years with nothing to lose to do it. I say go for it. That's my opinion. Now, people may disagree with that, but that's Chris.
Well, I totally agree. And I would just say on a different note, this is kind of the way I look at it with the swamp. Look at how they have treated him since he hasn't been president with all these lawsuits.
That's right.
90-some, indictments. Okay, just think of it like this. He put people in power that he thought would help him. Jeff Sessions, he's one of them. I heard Paul Ryan speak the other day. It made me want to vomit. I'm listening to these people that he put around him. He didn't have the best people around him.
He did not.
He did not. Now, could he do that alone? Probably not. But you know what? He really didn't have the best people to implement that. Now he'll go gung-ho. He's got nothing to lose and no one he has to pay. It's going to be Katie bar the door, and that's what we need. You're right.
And I think that's why they're trembling, and I think that's why everybody's got their therapists and psychiatrists on speed dial tonight at the Democrat National Convention. That's all I got to say. And I was just, look, I want to make it clear. I'm not making fun of Joe Biden's cognitive issues. I think it's very serious. I'm not making fun of that. But what I am laughing about is this meltdown of the people around him tonight that was always threatening Trump and threatening conservatives, threatening Republicans, threatening this, threatening that. And now the table has just gotten basically turned over and yanked right out from beneath them. And they're acting like a bunch of petulant fifth graders that got their little lunch taken from them today. And if you don't think that it's making my heart warm to degrees beyond measure, it makes my heart feel good, because it's a damn good day in America. When the left is upset, that means something good is going on in the country.
That's right. They have been in turmoil since this entire session of the Supreme Court, and I absolutely love that. That is a win every day for me, because I think it rebalances everything. And Clarence Thomas, he made it clear. Sotomayor and who else? Kagan and Jackson. All three of them said, look, this is a new precedent. This is new. This is giving the president powers that he's never had. That's absolutely not true.
That's not true. That is not true. I'm glad you said that. It is not true, Leslie. Go ahead. Keep going.
No, and so with that said, I love that Clarence Thomas came back and said, look, this is built into our Constitution.
Yes, it is.
We have 3 equal branches of government. And you have weaponized one of those branches. And you also weaponize when you get in power in the other one, and also other one. So, wouldn't that be phenomenal if we won all 3 branches? It would, both the Senate and the House and the presidency, and appoint another judge. It would be phenomenal.
Well, I'll put it like this. John Roberts has found Jesus, because he sure has been voting pretty good lately. It must be.
He's done better.
He's done better. That's all I got to say about old John. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't believe he's a real conservative. I think he's kind of moderate, and that's fine. You can always count on Clarence Thomas to do the right thing. God love him. I love him. I think Gorsuch has been a little of a disappointment. Certainly, Amy Coney Barrett has been a little disappointment for me.
What has Gorsuch been disappointment been to you? You feel like he's not been as strong as you thought he would be?
Yeah, I mean, he votes conservative, but they both had some opinions that I felt were not. And, hey, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one that's ultra conservative, and I don't have a lot of forgiveness for that, because as a Christian, I feel like I've really been they zero in on Christians and conservatives, and I truly have felt that the last year or two. I really feel like we are under the gun, and to let these Palestinians and pro-Palestinians take over our universities, I mean, that blows my mind. We are back in 1938 with the Jews. What are we doing? What are we doing to stop that? It's not even acknowledged on MSNBC and CNN. Not even acknowledged.
Yeah,
so
I'm with you.
How do you, if you're Joe Schmo and you're flip through CNN and CBS Evening News and NBC Nightly News, you don't know what's really going on.
Yeah. Good stuff, buddy. Good stuff. I tell you, I'm with you 100%. And I do a couple of quick questions. We've got to wrap this up for tonight on this early bird. Let me ask you this. Do you think that there's any surprises coming at that convention? And I got to say this. I've been getting a lot of texts, a lot of emails, people worried that Michelle Obama's going to pop on this ticket. I think it's too late. I don't see how legally they can do it, because they can't jump over Kamala. And what people don't realize, if Joe Biden stepped down tonight, Kamala Harris is your president. I mean, that's just how it is. And and there's not going to be any swap at the convention, because those delegates have pledged their votes to Joe, and there would be all sorts of unmitigated hell. Look what Jason Miller said tonight. There's a boomerang coming. And he said the Democratic convention will be an intervention. And if they try to do this, Leslie, I'm telling you, it will destroy the Democratic Party. It will destroy and I don't even call it Democratic Party, the Democrat Party, because they're not Democratic. But
no.
I want to put people's fears. Now, look, if Chris is wrong, because Chris is man enough to come back on this show and admit sometimes if he gets it wrong. And if I got this wrong, I'll come back on here and say, well, I guess I was wrong. I do not believe that they're going to swap him out at the convention. I don't care all this blather in the media, because that's part of our problem. We need to stop listening to these blabbling, bumbling idiots on television and getting our feathers in a wad by these useless politicians and these useless media types. I could care less what they say, because most of these people don't know how to tie their shoe and chew gum. And I'm sort of over the media craze, and all these dim pundits on there are scared to death for Joe Biden. Well, y'all picked him. This is y'all's candidate, so enjoy the show and just smoke up. That's all I got to say. But I want to believe that legally they can't do it. Do you think there's any prayer in hell they can do that? I don't.
No, not with 4 months. I mean, we have right at 4 months until the election. I think that Joe is going to decline even more. I think that there is, you're right though, I think their big conundrum is Kamala Harris. What do you do with her? I was talking to my husband about this. I said, how do you get around that?
Okay.
Do you offer her a Supreme Court justice seat if you're elected? Do you give her $10 million to secretly go away and ride off into the sunset? I don't know. I don't see her doing that from an ego standpoint, but she may take one for the team, because that's the only hope they're going to have. Michelle Obama, I mean, I think we can beat Joe all day long. I hope it is Joe. That's my personal feeling. I think he's the one to beat. I think we could beat him and beat him well. I think when you get the likes of Michelle Obama in there, you really, boy, that's a slippery slope.
Well, I don't think that she's as popular as people fear she is. I don't think that the Obamas are as popular, but that's, again, Leslie, we live in a weird world right now. and so forth. Listen, I'm going to let you go. I got to take some of these comments, and we've got another show coming up here at 11 tonight, so we've got to get ready for that. Listen, I want to thank you for dropping in tonight. I'm going to get you back on the 4th of July this week. We're going to sort of not be here, but next week we'll be back, and the week after. I'm going to get you on for a regular hour, full hour, and have you talk to us, okay? You know I love you. I would love that. Thank you. Appreciate you much, and our prayers for you and Bill tonight. Thank you for your insight, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Short notice.
You too.
God bless you, friend.
See you soon.
Take care. Go Braves, right?
I'm sorry?
Go Braves, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah, right. Go Astros. Okay,
Astros.
See you later.
Take care. Good night. Leslie Millwee, everybody. That's a good friend. She's such a good one. Let's see here. Let me get a hold of Tony. Just texted me. Let's see here. Let me see if he can come on. Let me see if he can do this real quick. If he can, we'll get him on in just a second. Folks, if you've just joined us, we were supposed to have Tony Branco tonight. He's going to come on here in a minute, hopefully. We had a little mix-up in the schedule, but Leslie Millwee did a great job. I want to just address some of the comments, though, that I'm seeing. Gigi, your comment, we've just said that already. You know, if Biden is removed for whatever reason, Kamala is the candidate, without a doubt. And EMT Gerald Ford, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Gerald Ford took over, but Nixon resigned. He actually resigned. And... you know, that was that. And then he ran in 76 and he lost to Carter. And Reagan was going to pick him in 1980 for his vice president. Him and Ford had some sort of not things they saw eye to eye on. And that's where Bush Sr. came into the picture. So, you know, there is precedence for presidents stepping down. Kiwi, your comment, I think she says if he thinks he can't prosecute all of them, or that they may delete him, he may not go after any of them. Any prosecution against the Nazis will be delayed into kingdom come. Well, Kiwi, that's true. Look, I'm with you, but this lawless weaponization of our justice system against conservatives has got to stop. It's got to stop. And ultimately, it ain't Trump that's going to prosecute them. It's the Department of Justice. So what I'm saying is you put an attorney general in place that's got two things between his legs and has some gumption about him, about the law and the Constitution. And he's not Jeff Sessions wussy and Bill Barr wuss, but he's an attorney general. And I know people are going to say, well, one bad thing don't deserve another bad thing. And this is not about retribution. It's about the law. They have broken the law doing what they're doing. I dare say, if you got a fair judge, if you got a fair-minded judge on any of these cases, and you see what's happening to the judge down in Florida, the media is excoriating her every day on the press. They are calling her every name in the book because she's not allowing Jack Smith to run over her in her courtroom. The moron in New York tonight, and Leslie's point is well taken, he's probably salivating, thinking he's going to get one for the team on Trump. And if he does, when this goes to appeal, the Supreme Court is going to slap this down quicker than what they did today. And my point is this. I don't even care if it takes long or not. But it's not Trump that will be prosecuting him. It's the Attorney General. And he needs to choose people wisely. And he needs to make sure he remembers the two wusses he put in office before. Because neither one of them was worth the term Attorney General. So, look, I understand your point. I'm a little fired up about this tonight. Because, see, they have done this. And, folks, the people that lose in this are not the conservatives. It's you, the people. We, the people. This is an affront to law-abiding citizens. It's an affront. It's insulting what they've done. It's insulting what they've done. Jonathan, your question is about Hillary. Interesting. Possibly. And Kamala, can be moved to step down, but again, folks, that'll be her choice. I don't see it happening. Look, I'll put it like this. The next 3 months are going to be popcorn worthy with the Democrat National Convention. If we think the Republican convention is going to be interesting, wait till we see. I think just for entertainment value, that's going to be the most watched convention in history this year. If nothing else, for entertainment factory. Anyway, Deborah said, I heard they want to put Trump in jail and kill him. Jill is on the cover. Well, Debbie, of course. I mean, that's really not news. I mean, of course they do. Rosemary, your point about Hillary Clinton is actually well taken. I don't think Hillary's as popular as people are fearing. I think they can't stand the Clintons in the Democrat circles. And that's a good point. Look, if that's what they want to do, let them put Hillary on that ticket. I think it's okay. I don't think the people are going to be any more warming to her than they are Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or anybody else. And if you think, there's people out there think Gavin Newsom's going to come into this thing. Gavin Newsom, folks outside of California, Gavin Newsom is looked like the complete idiot. The only people that love Gavin Newsom is that left-wing power base in Sacramento, California, San Francisco, and L.A. And that's the liberal base in California. They control the state. Those 3 cities control the state, maybe a little bit of San Diego. So, look, it's going to be an interesting summer. And all these things we're saying tonight, folks, we don't know what's going to happen at this point. But I do not believe they're going to replace Joe Biden. And that's my opinion. I don't think they legally can do it. And my apologies on the Ford situation. Wesley said that Agnew resigned and Ford was put as vice president. Then Nixon resigned. But still, folks, that was an act of resignation. It was not they were replaced. I mean, they resigned. Nixon resigned because of Watergate, and Ford became president, and he pardoned Nixon. And a lot of people believe that while it was good for the country, it allowed the country to heal. It was what cost him the election with Carter. And I believe he did the right thing in pardoning Nixon. I do. It cost him the election. Gerald Ford was a good man. He wasn't perfect, but Gerald Ford was a good man. And I wish Reagan, to be honest with you, would have put him on that ticket in 1980. I'm not sure how that would have worked out, but I like Gerald Ford. I was actually in middle school when that happened. Anyway, Tia Z said they may be grooming Governor Wes Moore. He's out campaigning for Joe. Well, Tia, perhaps. Peter says, Chris, you want to come to Chicago for the convention, you can stay with us. Peter, I put it like this. It's tempting, but I don't have the money to hire the National Guard for my protection to come to Chicago. Because I understand Jake Franchise ain't here tonight. It's a war zone up there. I'd be afraid to park my car. I'd have to get Jason Miller to build me some kind of cover for my car and put Jason Miller as my bodyguard and put him outside and protect my vehicle while I'm at the convention doing live feeds. Boy, that would be fun. But Peter, if I do decide to come, I might take you up on that. I appreciate the invite, brother. I appreciate the invite. I do. And Peter, we're not saying we've never said Ford was perfect. We're not saying Ford was perfect. I'm just saying he was a good man. But Peter, ain't been none of them perfect, buddy. Ain't been none of them perfect. And Trump wasn't perfect. None of them been perfect. And they ain't none going to be perfect. But what I'm seeing happening tonight, folks, is the unraveling of a party before our very eyes. I'm telling you, this is weird stuff. AOC's even out there claiming she's going to impeach the Supreme Court. That's the most hilarious thing coming out of that woman's mouth in a line of stupidity that's come out of her mouth. That is probably up there in the top 2 tonight. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Joanne says the hillbillies should never go back to the White House. That's probably true. Patty Isaac says, since presidents have immunity, does this mean they can go after their opponents and nothing will happen? And then Patty, no, it does not. That's not what this is about. What it's about is when they do something in office as official acts, going after your opponents is unofficial, then they have immunity. And the media is trying to play that up tonight. And folks, that is untrue. And what Sotomayor said today was untrue. That there's not precedent for this. It's built into the Constitution. There's 3 branches of government. The president has power. The executive branch has power. It has equal power with the legislative branch. It has equal power with the judicial branch. And the attorney general is actually part of the executive branch. So, no, I don't think it sets a bad precedent. It's already there. The precedent has already been set by the founding fathers that we have 3 equal branches of government that work together. What's happened is the left has hijacked, and this left-wing mob mentality has hijacked these branches, and that's not made it good. Anyway, let's see here. I'm going to go over to Facebook in a minute and take some questions and comments over there. A couple of statements. Sheila Daspit says, we would love Mark Robinson as Trump's vice president from North Carolina. I don't know about that. I don't know him that well. I've heard of him. Let's see. Jonathan says, I'm very suspicious Hillary will somehow end up on the ticket. Jonathan, I tend to believe that, brother. I don't know. I don't think anything is possible. That's for sure. Carol Smith says, if they act this way now, how will they act when Trump wins? Let me say something about, speaking of that, Carol, let me tell you that's going on in France tonight. We ain't even covered that. They're having Antifa and Black Lives Matter, Antifa riots in France tonight because Le Pen won the first round of that presidential race against Macron. All these people that thought Macron's the Antichrist, I bet they're rethinking that theology tonight. That's a little side note. But, yeah, Macron ain't even going to be the president of France come next week, probably, let alone the world's last dictator. But anyway, I had to throw that in. That was a freebie. But anyway, France is going up in smoke tonight. That's what I'm concerned about here. And let me tell you something, folks. If y'all remember, 4 years ago, it was this summer, it was this month, June, July, into August, that this country was on fire. They had the riots in Seattle, Missouri, St. Louis, Atlanta, Texas, all over this nation, folks. They were burning stuff to the ground. Portland, Oregon, they were burning their crap to the ground. And it was ugly. Minnesota, Minneapolis, all these things were going on this 4 years ago this summer. I'm surprised we ain't had more of that. I think what they've been waiting for, I think they're waiting for July the 11th. And if Trump walks, hold your seats. That's all I got to say. But, Carol, it's a good point. Because that's how they're going to act. That's how they're going to act. Peter says Macron for dog catcher probably would lose that too. I'll agree with that. Even though he did treat our veterans right on D-Day. Corey Aguilar says, I read that if Biden voluntarily resigns before or during the convention, it's legally easy. Well, Corey, it is, but I get this sense that he knows if he steps aside at this point, he's open game for criminal investigations like there is no tomorrow. Look, if he's in office right now, he can he's got an attorney general at his bequest. He can sort of stop a lot of this. I think he knows, and it's just an opinion. I don't see anything in his demeanor that he is not being told by his inside circle to resign. He's being told to dig down and be at that debate in September. And I put it like this, Corey, you may ultimately be proven right because he may decide I've had enough, and we could see something suddenly. We never know from day to day. And I'm going to hold out my statement for right now that I don't think it's going to happen. But I can tell you all tonight, folks, I don't know it won't happen. I just don't think it'll happen. I don't know for sure. But none of us do. Legally, he could step down and resign, but it goes to Kamala Harris then. And I don't trust her past the screen. And I don't see her stepping aside. I think she's salivating for that seat in the White House. I think she's salivating for it. That's just my opinion. If y'all remember this, when Walter Mondale in Minnesota, the Democrat Norm Charlson, he passed away before the election. And the Republican, maybe he was the Republican. Anyway, the Republican candidate for Senate in Minnesota was running against a Dem. He died. They put Walter Mondale in at the last minute. In 2 months, he got shellacked. And I think that's what the Dems are facing. If they try to change this thing up right now, I don't see it generating a lot of influence on their side. Now, again, that is an opinion. But yeah, he could resign. I don't see it happening. She becomes president. Yep, the Democrats are desperate. It's about to hit the fan. Roger, I will agree with that. Dennis Floyd, your question earlier about the media. There's a principle legally called absence of malice. And unfortunately, our freedom of the press protects them. They can be a bunch of idiots, and it's not illegal to be a bunch of dumb fool idiots. Where the press gets into areas of criminality, if they start divulging national security secrets and things of that nature, that I think you could argue that they could be held criminally liable for putting the country at jeopardy and safety. But doing what they're doing right now, it's called absence of malice. Somebody could go out and do a hit piece on me tonight in the press, and it could be all false. And if I couldn't prove that they maliciously done it with a reason, I can't do nothing about it. There was a movie about it many, many years ago. I don't know if y'all watched it. Remember, it was Paul Newman and Sally Field, and they had done a hit piece on him, and you know, he tried to sue him. He tried to do something about it, and the law wouldn't do it, so he set him up. And they basically got caught in their own web and took down the one of the senators there. But anyway, it was an interesting thing. But absence of malice, friend, they can't, most of the time the media cannot be prosecuted unless it threatens national security. And if they go beyond that, and then it becomes a criminal matter. That is somewhat above my pay grade. I know there may be some legal precedent for other things, but being stupid with the pen and being stupid with your newspaper and being stupid and not having a brain when you run your mouth, ain't no crime against it. Maybe it's good. Maybe I wouldn't be here either. I'm just saying. Anyway. Rosemary says, I think Joe will step aside because he will pardon Hunter before he leaves. Well, again, folks, you can believe what you want to believe. I don't know. We'll see. I do believe he's going to pardon Hunter. And folks, let me just say this. I said this Friday night, and I want to say it again because I get this sense that, look, I don't think we can totally understand. I got 3 boys. And Joe is probably thinking right now, he's got nothing to lose either way. And if he can pardon his son, I'm not saying it's right, okay? But as a dad, I understand his heart for his son. I understand his heart. I'm not saying it's right. But it shouldn't be that shocker. Folks, let me just say it like this. The Hunter situation is a distraction. We got far bigger things to worry about than Hunter Biden. We got far bigger fish to fry than Hunter Biden. We got far bigger problems in this country than Hunter Biden. These people that are getting raped and killed, these women, these girls, these young girls, these teenage girls, these college girls, this situation with our economy tonight where you can't go to the grocery store and spend less than $200 on 6 items. Folks, we got bigger issues. We've got bigger issues. We've got bigger issues in the nation than the things that we're focusing on. This nation is in a spiritual mess tonight. It's in a spiritual downward abysmal abyss, headed for a crash. Our economy, we're so much in debt right now. Folks, do you realize that the Lord would have to tarry 100 years before we probably could pay this money back? And I'm not so sure we'll ever pay it back. And if these nations ever called this money in, the United States will become so insolvent, we will literally implode. We've got corruption in every level of government. We got corruption in the medical field. We got corruption in the entertainment field. We got corruption in the financial markets. We've got banks closing, businesses closing. Have you noticed since 2020 that your stores used to stay open until midnight? You can't even get a store to stay open past 8 o'clock at night now because they can't find help, and most of them don't have the business now to stay open. Folks, that is a concentrated effort to destroy the middle class and businesses in this country, to make America a communist, socialist-run country where everything is dependent on the government. Those things cause me to stay up at night a hell of a lot more than worrying about a president's son that has lost his way and needs some help, without a doubt. But that's all we talk about. And we don't need to be focusing on that, because that ultimately don't affect any of us. What does affect us is the state of this nation, and that is why I want President Trump in that office come November, because that is what he will focus on. This law thing, you give it to your Attorney General, and you say, deal with this lawlessness. And I believe Trump's going to do it. That's why the illegal vote they're scared. Because you know why these illegals want Biden in? Because they like this carte blanche ticket coming in. That too's going to stop. That too will stop when Trump gets back in office. That should worry us tonight. I could care less about Hunter Biden. I pray for his soul. I pray for everything. Even if Joe pardons him, Chris ain't going to lose no sleep over that. Because that ain't going to affect me one way or the other. It'll make good media talk, and everybody be up in arms about it. But it ultimately doesn't affect you as a family and me. So just a little piece of McFile friendly advice. Just a friendly advice. And you don't stop, he's not the hill to die on. That's exactly right. $1 trillion more every 100 days. Jason, that is exactly right, my friend. That is exactly right. That is exactly right. That is exactly right. For everyone's sanity, you may want to limit your news intake for a few months. Roger Hooker. Roger, qualify that, except for the McFiles. Except for the McFiles. By the way, we have some new folks. North Carolina Cowboy. Tip of the hat, fellow cowboy. Good to see you tonight. And the dear lady that said we love the McFiles, Tim Aspen, said that. Good to see you tonight on YouTube. And there were some other folks in the house. Let's see here. Who was that? Nancy says there isn't going to be an election. Well, that is sort of what people think. We'll see about that. Gene Hunter says, I always enjoy your truth on the other side of the mountains in North Carolina. Praying for you, Gene. We could use them. Thank you, my neighbor, on the other side of the mountains. I know what mountains you're talking about. It's good to see you tonight. Thank you for being in the house with us. Folks, it's 9:30. I wish we had more time, but we're not finished tonight. We got the one and only Lori Mills. She's out west, and you West Coast folks and you late nighters that want to come back and chew the fat with us late tonight, come on back. It will be a lights out, kids only, I should say, adults only, McFiles at 11 Eastern, and James R. is lurking out there. He may possibly come on around 11:30 midnight, because I don't know how long we're going to have Lori. But we ain't done with this tonight. But I want to thank Leslie Millwee. I hadn't heard back from Branko. We'll get Branko back on. He just, I think we messed up our schedule with him, but that's fine. It happens sometimes, from time to time. Did you enjoy tonight's show? If you did, put some fire in that house. And thank you to our guest, Leslie Millwee. Good to see you, Outdoory. Good to see you, dear. She's up with us tonight. Robert in the house. Robert Hancock here at Hunter. Good to see you. Michelle, Dana, all of you folks that are here tonight. Good to see everybody. Jason, good to see you, my friend. And all of our folks over in Facebook tonight. Vera, good to see you. Sonia Owens, Dennis Floyd, Jimmy Lemons, Tim Neal, good to see you, my friend. Always a good to see Anna. Saw some other folks. So, if you ain't got enough of us tonight, well, we ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. Oh, I love what I do. I just love what I do. Anyway, listen, we're going to be here tonight, tomorrow night. After tomorrow night, I got a procedure Wednesday, and probably likely won't see you Thursday the 4th unless we do a prayer event to be on the Faith Network. And Friday, we're going to take the week, take a few days off. Now, if something really major, if Joe Biden resigns, McDonald will be back, special McFiles broadcast. But we'll be back fully next week. That's why we're sort of doing a double feature tonight. We may do a couple of shows tomorrow. And we got some pre-recorded interviews. And we may play something pre-recorded Thursday night if I'm available. But just say a prayer for your host Wednesday. But that's why we're on here twice tonight. So we're still not done. We got some more thoughts. So if you want to stay around with us, come back late. We'd be glad to have you back. Dennis, thank you. I like this shirt too. And me too. I like bouncing around ideas too, my friend. I do too. Thank y'all. And look, we've sort of lightened up on the show. We used to be a little bit more wired up about stuff. We've mellowed out. I've always been just a teddy bear. People just didn't see this teddy bear early on. People were saying, well, has he changed? Yeah, I've changed. I've changed a lot. 7 years on the network would do it to you. And I enjoyed the comments. I don't have to agree with everything. And it's all right. We loosening up. It's okay. We're good. I'm learning to let people just have their say. I'm learning to let people have their say. Anyway, I'll see you back here. In about an hour and 26 minutes. Tip of the hat to everybody tonight. Thank you, Leslie Millwee, for being with me. We're going to get Branko. We might get Branko on. He's on the West Coast, too, so we might get him to come on early. If he comes on early, we'll be on with him, too. So we may have all 3 guests at one time. Who knows? We'll do it sometime. Listen, I love you guys. Have a good one. Have a good night, everybody. If you're not back tonight, I'll see you back here tomorrow night. Should be fun time. And for more reasons than one, trust me on that. For more reasons than one. Be blessed. I'll see you later on tonight.